And he stepped in and he found a cure. Sickle cells was always known as an incurable disease. I remember at age 14 looking it up, or at age 12 looking it up and finding out that the life expectancy was only 14, figuring I only had 2 years left to live. I made a bucket list and all of that jazz, but Hi everyone, my name is Revee and I'd like to share with you guys what God has done in my life. I was diagnosed with a condition called sickle cell anemia at the age of 2. I vividly remember growing up feeling extremely exhausted in elementary, coming in from recess with headaches, body pains, being out of breath, and thinking that every other kid in my class was experiencing the exact same thing. Clearly, I was wrong, and I was the only one experiencing that. Sickle cell anemia is a genetic condition where essentially your red cells, rather than them being nice and round and bouncy, they're actually sickle shaped and rigid. And they scrape your veins, they get stuck to each other, and they wreak havoc in your body. A classic sign of sickle cell anemia is pain. These pain crises come from the blood cells clumping together and not allowing blood flow and oxygen to certain areas of your body. It's a multi-system illness and it can affect you anywhere from head to toe, any organ, and I've pretty much experienced all of it. I've experienced everything from pain crises that that kept me in the hospital for weeks, infections, an endless amount of infections. I've had gallbladder surgery. I've had surgery to remove my gallbladder from gallstones. I've had pulmonary embolism crises. I've been getting red cell exchange, which is essentially a high-powered transfusion every 8 weeks for about 7 years of my life. I've been through it all: heavy medication treatment, laser eye surgery for sickle cell retinopathy, you name it, and I have experienced it. I really didn't fully believe that there was a God, because I said, how could a loving God, a wonderful God, put his child through this? And I turned my back on God. I lost all hope. Once I saw online that the life expectancy was 14, there wasn't really anything that could change how I felt. And no matter how much people said they'd pray about it, people would join me in prayer, I would go to church, and I still felt as though I felt hopeless, I felt lost, I felt that it didn't make sense, I felt that it was unfair that I had to go through all of this, and it really made it hard for me to keep pushing forward. But I thank God for giving me an amazing family and really good friends and a good support system to keep me going, keep me moving forward, and people who kept pumping me with Bible verses and scriptures so that I didn't lose faith. None of this would have happened without God. It wouldn't be possible, because when I heard of stem cell transplant, they only spoke about it for pediatric patients, so patients that are 18 and younger, and at the time I was 24, 25, and so there was absolutely no way for me. Even when I spoke to my hematologist about it, he wasn't interested. He said it's dangerous, he said it might not work, he said my life could be worse afterwards, and I really do believe that it was God who gave me the voice to really advocate for myself, gave my family the voice to keep pushing for what we wanted, what we thought was right. And even when I got there and my doctor sent me through, he sent me to the Calgary bone marrow transplant team, everything just started falling into place. From having a match, which is only a 14% chance that I would have a match, that's only God. That's only God. And then moving forward, even when we were looking for accommodation in Calgary, it was going to be $1,500 a month, and it was very unaffordable. But we by chance met a woman who was willing to let us stay at her condo for free. So for 4 months, rather than paying $1,500 monthly, we had a beautiful condo that bordered the Bow River, which is a beautiful river in Calgary, completely free. And it was 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, fully loaded, everything. We didn't need to bring anything but ourselves. And I really believe that was God. That was a blessing. She was our guardian angel. And even going further than that, I did have some complications from transplant along the way. Of course, everyone does. There's always bumps in the road, but God carried me through all of those different times. I've had times where I was in the hospital and they told me I could have died, but after transplant with different illnesses, and God found a way to rescue me from that, and He wasn't going to allow that to be my story. Sickle cells was always known as an incurable disease. I remember at age 14 looking it up, or at age 12 looking it up and finding out that the life expectancy was only 14, figuring I only had 2 years left to live. I made a bucket list and all of that jazz, but God swooped in and found a cure for me. He made it accessible to me. I was actually the first adult in Western Canada to get this treatment done. Before I could even get that done, even finding a match is such a hard thing to do, and there's a 25% chance that you will have a match in your family, and only 14% chance that that match would not have sickle cells. And I was fortunate enough that my sister was a 10 out of 10 perfect match, and we were able to go forward with this procedure. And after 5 days of chemotherapy and 1 day of total body irradiation, I had my stem cell transplant on November 9th, 2017. And then by January 25th, 2018, I was declared officially sickle cell free. I no longer have those pains I've been talking about. I no longer have hospital admissions. My life is totally different. I've been able to do things I never thought I would be able to do. I can finally dream big and look at my future and not feel that I have a looming life expectancy over my head. So I thank God for that. A really big part of my life is my job. I now have a position as a nurse at the Stollery Children's Hospital, and I get to work with little kids. It's amazing. And not only is it at the Stollery, but I got a job at the Pediatric Hematology Clinic as the sickle cell nurse. Oh God, it seems like He had a plan for me from the beginning, from being in the hospital to now being on the other side, and I just feel like there's no one better to be in this position than me, and I thank God for that. Anyone who's going through a tough time, I just pray that you continue to keep pushing, because you never know what is around the corner. God changes situations. He makes the impossible possible time and time again. I am daring you to try Jesus, because He can change a hopeless situation and make it a testimony.